to start with, what is privilege account? So the privilege account, like what are the accounts type? For example, if Tejas is new in the company and he joins the company, so the first time he will get his login ID, his password, he will get his mailbox, he will get his SharePoint access, he will get his folder access, he will get his AD account will be created by AD team, and based on his job profile, he'll be provided the access related to. Hold on, I'm just getting a call, guys. From. So cyber security is the technology which brings multiple tools which manage the security and the identity of applications, of users, of access groups. So whatever comes under threat, under alerts, under accounts privilege, under normal accounts, that all comes under cybersecurity. So CyberArk is one of the tool. Cybersecurity is a huge technology. It's very big technology, and it has multiple tools in the market. So CyberArk is one of them. Even same thing you can achieve using Azure AD, and yes, Azure AD is a bit cheaper compared to CyberArk, and Azure AD is easier compared to CyberArk. That's the reason most of the people they are in, most of the company they are using Azure AD to manage the PAM account, but CyberArk is more expensive and more highly privileged access management, and banks and all companies they use CyberArk. So as I was mentioning that, what is the PAM? So PAM is privilege access management. Privilege means the account, if Tejas has joined the company and he has normal account access, then he'll only have the access to log into his system. But let's suppose he joined the account, he joined the company as admin. He isn't going to perform in an Active Directory team, or he's going to join an Intune team or an Azure AD team. So his account will have some additional permission to install something, to make changes into others' account. That is called privilege access. Okay. So let me share my screen. May it can help to understand what I'm trying to explain here. Is my screen visible, guys?
Yes.
Okay. So the privilege account is it's as I mentioned, CyberArk is a tool which to manage the privilege account. So what is privilege account? Privilege account, which any account which has permission to install or uninstall or make any changes onto user's account or onto machine or anything like that. Okay.
You can say ADM accounts are privilege accounts.
Yeah, but people might not, because you are working on Azure, that's why you might understand what is ADM account. But this is not only the prerequisite is that you should not have the knowledge of Azure AD as well. So we have people in the class who does not know the Azure AD background. Okay. So since Bharat mentioned that ADM account means admin account, so that's a short form of ADM. So whichever account has permission to install or change any user settings or install or uninstall or make the server shut down, called privilege account. Okay, so privilege accounts can be anyway. It's like if you're using net banking accounts, that is privilege account. So for example, if you're logging to your login ID and password on the internet on your ICICI or your if you have HDFC Bank, whichever the bank you're using, so you're going to log into your account, that is privilege account, because that is containing the financial data. You can make any privilege means very, very important, very, very critical. And another permission the privilege account can have, the install permissions, the uninstall permission, the shutdown permissions. Okay. So banking sector use his ID and use this kind of a technology to secure the account. Insurance sector also use, and customer information will be saved into company server, like their date of birth, their age, their confidential information. So insurance company mostly use CyberArk. Banking sector use mostly CyberArk, right? So that's the privilege account. So what is encryption? Encryption is something, the data is encrypted and it can be only read by the limited person who has privilege of decrypt the data. For example, sometimes you must have seen the emails, you receive an email saying that email is encrypted. You click here to open this account. So if you have permission on that link or that SharePoint where that link is landing to, then only you'll be able to open that link. Or so This is to have the information more secure, to keep the confidential information secure. Okay. What is decryption? So decryption is something which allow you to read the message which is encrypted. So it's opposite of encryption. Okay. So when Tejas joined, he usually has access to the mailbox and his website, his SharePoint, his Active Directory, and if he wants to install some software, if he wants to create user, he must have the permissions to have that kind of access on his account, like helpless permissions or admin permissions, or uh, to manage domain controller, to install the patch. So these permissions are called RBAC roles, like role-based access control. So role-based access control, it depends on your role. What is your role in the company? So based on the role, you will be provided the access. So if your role is help desk analyst, you will be provided the access who can reset the passwords, who can create a new user. If your role is a domain admin, then you will be provided domain level admin access. You can join the trust, you can join other domain. If your role is enterprise admin, then you can transfer FSMO roles. You can do the highest privileging account. If your role is just administrator, then administrator cannot join domains or cannot remove the domains, but he can install the applications. He can make the changes into the system, into the server. Okay. So that's what the privilege accounts and the RBAC role. So let's suppose in your on-premise server, if you want to install some kind of softwares or some applications, what role you need? You need administrator access. And similarly, if you want to have, the if you want to have just to log into your system and you want to do your daily task, what role you require? You don't need any admin access. So you'll be given a user account role. That's it. So your role will define what kind of access you will be getting. And CyberArk is divided. There are few pillars of CyberArk, which we cover in our later on session. Since this was a in introduction session and the day one, so I just wanted you to know the background of what is privilege account, what is non-privilege accounts, why do we use CyberArk, and how it's similar to Azure AD. So what is account type, what is RBAC role, right? So that's how we introduce the CyberArk background now. Any question, guys?
No, no questions. I also worked on CyberArk. It's really similar to Azure AD.
Yeah, as I mentioned.
3 months.
So while learning this, you will be learning understanding of privileged access management concept and the best practice of CyberArk, installing configuring CyberArk Digital Vault, implementing password policies, rotation rules, manage secrets, credentials securely, configure users, account access, monitor them, implement sessions monitoring, like what others are doing to their system. So CyberArk has, features which can record the sessions, what others are doing into their system when they log in as admin. And you can create safe, you can create policies, you can audit the compliance reports, you can troubleshoot the common issues while performing your daily task. And that's what the CyberArk daily activities. To understand this training, you must have the knowledge of basics of Windows. What is Windows Server? What are the Linux server? You must have the basic knowledge of TCP/IP, DNS ports, DNS types, and you must familiar with the what is database, what is concepts. So that's the reason this class is not for freshers. Hope you guys have some basics knowledge of this, security concepts, and what is the lab environment, what is uh, you know required to be attentive and to be understandable the class concepts. Am I clear? Perfect. Thank you, Sindhu. So should we wrap up for the today, or we can continue to define that the pillars of CyberArk?
Okay.
You still have time?
Start from basic, and if anything basic is pending, you can continue.
Okay.
And start from one topic. At least it doesn't matter. It is 1 hour we need to finish. If the topic finish in 30 minutes, you can ask anyone if they are ready to put any question. If they are not ready, you can set a question.
Okay. Okay. So since I mentioned the background of CyberArk, Tejas, you are already working a little bit of CyberArk environment already.
Uh, I work some part of CyberArk, like just onboarding part, privilege account onboarding on Windows servers. That's it. I'm
Okay.
not into fully CyberArk.
Okay. Can you give your little bit kind of work, kind of what kind of work do you get during your daily environment into CyberArk specific?
Uh, okay, I can tell. Actually, we get like or I got a request to onboard the local account of Windows, like administrator account. So what we do is from CyberArk, two parts like safe and platform we need from CyberArk, and because based on that only we can onboard the account. So rest all the details like username and address that will be given by the target team, that is the Windows team, and based on that we onboard the account in CyberArk. But Chandra, before that they know what is safe, what is platform and all. If I tell like this, they'll not able to understand.
Yeah. So the best part, somebody having from the CyberArk environment is to can share their daily basis task, what they'll be doing, what kind of tickets do they get, right? So that's the reason I will need people who is from that kind of background. So we have also Nasim, who is trained on CyberArk. Nasim, do you want to highlight what kind of tickets do you get in during daily session? Nasim, can you hear me? Are you in condition to talk? Maybe he's joining from his job or something. Okay. So I think that's the background is. We have still time left for the today, or we can cover up in the next topic. Okay. Since we have some time, I will try to. People are still joining. I don't see option to admit them. Aziz. Yeah, Aziz was one of the senior resource in our previous sessions for Office 365, having 20 plus years of experience. So Aziz, I was discussing the background of the CyberArk, and this is one of the tool which is being used for cybersecurity. So I was just explaining them what is privileged access management, what is the difference between normal accounts and privileged accounts, and what are the problems, and what are the access types, RBAC roles, and all. Okay.
Okay, thank you.
So this is just in first session. So I just wanted to give the background, which I think we covered. Do we have still time left, or we can cover the next topic, guys? Any question? Please feel free to ask, because I don't want this session just like Office 365 sessions just for recordings. The best practice, if you are spending your 1 hour, if you're giving your 1 hour, you should be able to understand and gain something from the class. Otherwise, we already have so many recordings available in the YouTube, and we can simply watch them and make notes. But to make it interactive and to more interesting sessions, I would request you to be involved in the training, no matter if you are from that background. When you come for the next session, make sure to do revision or ask questions from the previous sessions.
So, how do we do in the next session?
Next session, I would try to do it in the evening time. In my evening time means Canada evening time and India morning time. I don't know who will be available, but hopefully Nasim is in Canada, so he'll be available, because during his daytime he has a job and he won't be available regularly. And similarly for me as well, if I have some work in daytime, I'll be free in evening. So whoever could not join, cannot join in daytime, they can go through the recording.
Good, thank you. Yeah.
So while I already mentioned what is the privilege accounts, definitions of privilege accounts, difference between credentials, secrets, and privilege accounts, the privilege accounts problems, insider threats, and the 81% hackers breach to our environment because of the weak of the stolen passwords, especially for the admins. No matter how do we save the password, where we save the passwords, and how do we share the passwords. But that's what the main agenda of any hacker, to keep trying to those weak accounts. So generally people try to keep the passwords like their child name at the rate 123, their date of birth, their girlfriend's name, their wife's name, @123, welcome @123. So these are the most guessable passwords. So that's what it's recommended to not to use any of the password which is simply easy for hackers to guess and get into your accounts. Today I saw a LinkedIn post. I posted on our account as well. Somebody joined TCS as a global admin in Office 365, and she posted happily on the LinkedIn stating that I joined TCS as a global admin. So global admin is a role. I commented her stating that it's good that you're global admin, but it's never show your role into public platform, because if hacker know that she's a global admin, he will target you and keep on trying on your account until he doesn't get success somewhere, right? So
Right.
that's the most critical, highest privilege account as a global admin. So why you want to show on the public platform that I am a global admin? You're a global admin. You should be always secret. That's it. You're privileged to have a global admin, and only one or two people are global admin in the company for security reasons. Most of the time, it's customers, clients, architects, and very less chances there are one team leader or somebody who has a global admin permission. So posting your position on a LinkedIn platform itself shows that you are not, entitled, or you don't deserve as a global admin. That's what I feel. So I commented on our post stating that never show that you're a global admin on a public platform. It will be easier for people to specifically make you target and keep attacking your IDs, guessing your IDs until they don't get success. Because they know that you're a global admin. Once they get into your account, company is gone, right?
Okay, I have a question, please.
Yes, please.
I mean, someone was saying that Azure Active Directory and CyberArk, they are the same. I mean, I do not know about Azure Active Directory. I do not have any knowledge of Azure Active Directory. I mean, is that the same?
I mean,
No, no, no.
The
Because he said the same because he only worked on Azure AD. He does not have any idea of CyberArk. If they're same, then why a company would pay such? Polo Alto recently had CyberArk company itself take over, right?
right, right,
Polo Alto is one of the biggest company in the networking and security. So
right,
if
firewall. Yeah,
if CyberArk is stable product in the last 15 years, then why we are not getting any engineers in the Canada or in India? Why it's so, it's not that easy. Even Tejas has given interviews, right, Tejas? Did you get a job? No, right?
no, Chandar. I attended around 4 interviews.
Four
Problem
interviews.
is, yeah, like I'm going through. Like I will read. They are asking troubleshooting question.
Correct.
So we don't have like I have only like some part of knowledge on
Theoretical
CyberArk.
knowledge. Yeah.
Yeah, theoretical
So
knowledge
that is
and
the only purpose to connect here. See, Tejas has already all these classes and everything with him, right? He can go through. But whenever we study alone, we feel sleepy, don't we? We don't feel like. And if I am here to teach you, my purpose is to not my learning. Obviously, I also want to enhance my skill set. But what's wrong if I'm sitting with you guys and you can also learn with me? And the same course, if you spend 30,000 rupees, then you will understand the value of classes. Somebody in the group told me that nobody value the free classes, but you prove me wrong. Prove that person wrong. That free classes are also valuable, because it's not free completely. You are giving your time, and your time is money always.
because in interview they will not ask theoretical question. They will ask scenario based question.
Correct.
And if you
so
don't practice, then we will not able to clear. Like somehow we can manage, but if they go in deep, like first question they will explain your architecture. How is your current company architecture?
Correct.
So if we don't know that, if let's say I'm not into CyberArk. I'm not into CyberArk completely. I'm part of security team. There I just one part of I do work as a CyberArk. That's it. So when I attend my first interview, they first asked me this question: explain your architecture. I was completely blank. I don't know what to explain that.
Hmm.
Then later I googled it
So
and ChatGPT and
to
all.
answer your question, if I would be there instead of you, I would answer in when they ask you your environment, they don't bother what is your environment. They want to
Correct.
know your understanding of CyberArk concepts. So I'll
Mm,
explain my environment. When I was working in CyberArk in my account, Naseem was there with me in my company, right, Naseem?
right,
So I
right.
was the lead in my company for CyberArk, and I was managing the complete CyberArk. So I've shown Naseem live how we monitor the sessions, and even we used to sit together to discuss, and we used to try to study that to understand the environment. So if I would be at your place, that's how we answer that. In our environment, we have two vault servers, we have two PCM, we have two PSM, we have two CPM servers. We have one utility server, and we have we are using
I
the
mean,
version 13 currently on
yeah, I
premise.
mean, the answer would be, I mean, say, I mean, we have a bot server, disaster recovery bot server, right?
Correct.
And we have two PSM servers,
Correct.
right? into CPM or something like that.
So
I mean, this
his target is to not to understand what is in your company. He just want you to understand that what is the meaning of architect. Architect means it is not architect level questions. Somebody in my training, in my beginning of my career, told me, he asked me to work on an L2 ticket. I was in service desk in HCL, so he asked me to work on an L2 ticket, and I simply said, sir, it's assigned to L2. Then he was my team lead. His name is Vikas. I still remember him, Vikas Chaudhary. He said, there's no one L2 and L3 in the world. It's all your intention. If you have good intention to learn, you are an L2 and you are an L3. Google it and try it yourself. Then I took the remote of the customer. I Googled it. I fixed the problem. And I felt so happy. And I told my team lead, yes, I fixed it. I did not assign this ticket to the L2 team. He said, see, from today you're L2. Never tell anybody that you're an L1. So that's how I start feeling L2. There's no difference between L1, L2, L3, architect. If you're ready to take the challenge, then you're already there.
right.
Never ever answering. See, our class motto is not only discuss things, only practical things. We also want to learn from each other's interviews and explanation. So your interview question was, what is the your environment? Did you get my answer, Tejas?
Yeah, I later Googled it. Then I
You
was like,
found
then
similar
like,
answer, right?
yeah, similar answer only.
And I
Like
have
how
never
many?
attended interviews in CyberArk, but I have taken around so many interviews in CyberArk. Why do I know this? Because I used to take interviews in TCS, right? So
Hmm.
the reason I know, see, learning is always good, no matter which technology you're working, which age you're sitting, and how much experience do you have. But learning together, sharing each other experiences, and these question discussion is the purpose of this call and this group. The sessions, are being shared, the knowledge being shared. Similarly, you give interview, you come up with the questions, you write down your interview questions, you discuss here, not because of you want to know the answers, because Manoj also want to learn from your interview, Nasim also want to learn from your interview, Vasant also, Aziz, we all want to learn from your interviews, right?
Hmm.
Maybe you explain in a different way, Manoj has a different thought of process, Nasim has a different thought of process, Aziz has a different level of understanding, and maybe Vasant is completely an architect level person who can help us to understand the answer in a better way, right, Vasant? So that's how I call it learning together. Always learn to share.
Yes, yes, yes.
And
Right.
sharing is only the best way to keep learning. If you learn it,
Right.
you keep it with yourself. See, I don't know you, anybody of you personally, and nobody's going to be my competitor if I teach you CyberArk, right? Nobody's going to take my job away. And that's the worst thing people do in IT industry. When they are in IT, they're in a position, they try to say that I'll make dependency, I'll not share the knowledge. But that's biggest mistake. If you teach somebody, if that the only way to identify and to authenticate that you know something, only if you can teach somebody. If I know 100
Right.
of things and I can answer in interviews, that's not if I know. If I can teach Ajit, if I can teach Vasant, if I can teach Manoj, that means I know something.
Correct.
Knowing something and clearing interview is not the learning. Knowing something and letting somebody also know that what you know, and if he's able to understand, that's the reason I request you to guys keep on asking question. If you don't understand, if you don't understand, then my time is your time is all waste, right? What is so one of the example one of my friend shared yesterday, Manoj, yeah, he's Manoj, he's there on the call. So he taught in a school just for 1.5 month on a temporary basis in a as a guest lecturer in a school. And in that school, he was a temporary guest lecturer, but he has changed in a way in that school that he was invited later on after 2.5 years. He was invited as a chief guest or as speaker on the stage by principal. And when principal called him on the stage, and when he invited him, they say that we are running this school from last 1985, and just in 1.5 month, what difference you have made to the kids that they want to become like you, right, Manoj? And that is a really big challenge, because his way of teaching was, he used to be in teaching background, he always target to the person who is least in the class, who has lowest score in the class. So his target was, if I can teach the person who is not understanding at all, because most of the teacher, what they do, they ignore the people who are lower in the score. They only catch the creams of the class. But Manoj always target the weak guys. So that's what the difference he has made into that school just in 1.5 month. Right, Manoj?
Right, right.
So it is nothing that you cannot teach me. You can teach me 100 things. You might have different way of seeing things. You are junior to me. I am junior to Aziz. Aziz can teach me. Tejas can teach me. We can learn from each other. So many things we can learn from each other. And that's the only purpose of these sessions, to learn each other from each other, to share experiences, to share knowledge, to share challenges, and how did we come out of this challenge. And that's the only way to grow in life, to be happy.
Okay, I gave one interview just 2 days ago,
Okay.
and 3 people they joined, and they have around 14 questions they have, but they asked me around 17, 18 questions. So 3 of them, and they divided the questions. So I told them in one of the situation during the interview, I told them, I mean, in networking, no one knows everything. I mean, so they are asking that, I mean, that how I work with colleagues, coalition, right? This kind of stuff. So it was the answer I used there.
And
That in
just to,
networking, no
yeah,
one
go
knows.
ahead. In
No one
Naseem's
knows.
background, sorry, he did not introduce himself. I have worked with Naseem in my company while working with the client, and he's an architect guy in networking. He has completely designed and migrated the networks which was not touched from last 37 years. And he has migrated those complete network setups. I have seen him live doing changes. He's a network guy, but he's still learning cybersecurity because it's a demand in these days, and he's still ready to learn, right, Nasim? So
Right.
that's the beauty of being on a platform where we all want to learn from each other. And I'm always ready to learn from you guys. And that's all for today, I think.
Chandar actually introduces me, I mean, to those links, I mean, the teacher, right?
Yeah,
Who
yeah,
taught
even I'm
from,
still, yeah, even we learn
yeah.
from
So
them, even
I,
they just
I,
learn from.
I came to know about this CyberArk word, the word CyberArk. I came to know from Chandar.
See,
I mean,
that's how.
I never heard about CyberArk before, although I'm in networking for 15 years.
See,
Because it is an application, it is a tool. So no, it is
correct.
not that. I mean, uh, I mean, I do not know why I never heard about it, but it is true. I mean, it is. It is. Right?
And Azure has also feature of managing privileged accounts. That's the reason Bharat said that it's Azure AD. But see, if you don't have competitor in life,
No, it is not Azure. It is similar to Azure because I
yeah,
managed passwords in CyberArk, and 3 months I got chance. Then we moved to Azure
yeah.
from Cyber.
So it's similar to Azure AD, but it's not like Azure AD. Every technology has a same motto to secure the accounts, to secure the organization. But
I have a question, please. In Azure AD, I mean, we can do the, I mean, session recording in Azure
no, we
AD,
cannot.
right? Well, that was my question actually that time. I mean, it is similar, but how it is
Yeah, it's
similar?
similar in some points, like having privileged session management, having
Okay.
privileged accounts, just in time
Mm.
access. The access
Okay.
being given only for 10 minutes, only for 20 minutes, just in time access. So that kind of features are there in Azure AD, but you need P2 license for that. So P2 license is a very costly license, and it's a different technology altogether, but the motto is same, to secure the company.
Okay.
We can cover, if we get success in these trainings and we get positive response from people, then we will continue further. And it's nothing wrong to be on the platform where
If
you want to
anyone,
learn.
yeah, if anyone have a office email address, I can guide you how you can get a sandbox. So you'll get the P2 license as well. But we'll do it once this session is complete. Like once Manoj completes everything. Sorry,
Yeah,
Chandra completes everything. Then we'll do it.
yeah, it's good idea, buddy. Thank you, Aziz. So this kind of contribution we need, from the senior resource, especially from Tejas, Naseem, Vasant. Even Bharat can share his knowledge on Azure AD if he's working on. So the session should not be one-way session that I keep talking and you're listening. That's the reason it's purpose to ask your availability and my availability. Otherwise, I would have simply recorded on YouTube and uploaded. That's it. Then what's the intention of being together, right? Okay, guys, I think that's all for today, and uh, we'll connect again. I'll do some editing, and then I'll upload it in separate, uh, separate, complete new playlist for CyberArk.
Sure.
Okay, thank you, guys.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Bye.